Westwood Gardens, and today we're going to be planting bulbs. So a lot of people wonder why we plant bulbs in the fall. The reason is because the bulbs need to cool down so that they can activate and bloom really beautifully in the spring. The best time to plant them is at least 6 weeks before the final frost, so they have plenty of time to cool down. There are tons of different kinds of bulbs that you can plant in the fall. Today I have with me daffodil bulbs. These are really great because they will come back for tons and tons of years. They also have, when you get the bulbs, they also have these little pups that you can break off and plant separately from the mother bulb. And this is really great because it's kind of like a 2-for-1 kind of a deal. I also have crocus bulbs, which are a lot smaller and produce a smaller flower. And then lastly with me I have allium bulbs, which are a lot larger of a bulb, and they produce a really large stem and bloom, which are actually related to onions. They're technically an ornamental onion. Okay, so each different bulb type will need to be planted at different heights, so make sure when you go to your garden center that you pick up the tag or any sort of supporting information with it, and they should be able to tell you how deep the bulb should be planted and then also how far apart, so spacing is also very important with bulbs. Okay, so before you get started planting, you'll have to do a little bit of bed prep. You definitely want to amend your soil because bulbs don't like to sit in real boggy soil, so you want it to be very well drained. And you also want to add some sort of compost or organic matter to the soil so that the bulb can be very nourished. Also, you can add some bone meal as you're planting, and this high phosphate number, the second number here, will help the bulb plant or produce beautiful blooms in the spring. So the first bulb I'm going to be planting in my garden today is an allium bulb. Now this needs to be planted about 4 inches deep in the soil. So first things first is I'm going to dig the hole. This is a bulb planter, so it helps dig into the soil and grab a bunch of it and create a perfect hole for you. And it also has nifty little numbers on the side that tell you how deep in inches the hole is. So I'm going to go to 4 inches deep and dig a hole for my allium bulb. I'm going to add a little bit of my bone meal to the bottom of my hole and just kind of mix it around with my fingers a little bit. I'm going to use about a teaspoon of bone meal for this bulb. Then to plant my bulb, you just want to make sure that the hairy side is down and the pointy side is up. On all your bulbs you'll plant that way. And then you just take your soil that you took out to dig your hole and place it back on top of the bulb. You want to make sure that you don't tap the soil down too hard, press it down too hard, because your bulbs will like a nice light, loose soil. So after you're done planting your bulb, you'll want to remulch. Because I have weed barrier, I cut an X in the weed barrier to give room for me to make the hole. So now I'm just going to pull these flaps back. And pull my mulch back over top of my bulb. Okay, so like I mentioned before, my bed here in my garden has mulch and weed barrier down, so I'm going to show you how to pull up the mulch and the weed barrier to plant. So I'm going to be planting the crocus bulbs now. And so because they're so small and don't need as much space in between, I'm just going to dig basically a trench line and place them in there in a row. So I just pulled back some of the mulch, and now I'm going to cut a line in my weed barrier so I can pull it back. Okay, so now I'm just going to dig a little trench, just 2 inches deep. So now I'm going to plant my crocus bulbs, again with the hairy side down and the pointy side up. And my tag told me to place them at least 2 inches apart. And again, cover up with the soil, but don't pat down too hard. And lastly, cover it back up with the mulch. A lot of people like to also plant pansies so that they have a really nice bed of pansies with the bulb bloom shooting up through the pansies, which is really nice come spring. I'm Becca Black with Westwood Gardens. Good luck in your fall garden.